You're watching C-SPAN, and we're live inside the Washington Hilton, just a few minutes north of the White House. And this is the International Ballroom, the largest ballroom in the city of Washington. Almost 3,000 people here tonight for the annual White House Correspondents' Dinner. The U.S. Marine Corps Band, under the direction of Drum Major Tom Cole, just behind the dais, the head table there. The activity's getting underway in just a few minutes with the presentation of the colors and the national anthem. Here at the Washington Hilton, President Bush and Mrs. Bush are obviously here tonight, as is Stephen Colbert, who will be the entertainment of the Colbert Report on Comedy Central. Here's what our schedule looks like. As we mentioned, we'll see the colors in just a few minutes, and later on, the dinner will get underway at about 9:30. Dinner will start at about 9:30 Eastern this evening, and our coverage continues at 10:05 with President Bush and his comments, and Stephen Colbert, the entertainment for the evening, set to perform tonight at 10:25. Guests began arriving this evening around 6 or 6:30 Eastern, and the dinner will get underway. The events surrounding the dinner will get underway in a few minutes as we wait for the multi-service color guard to present the colors and get the evening's festivities underway. While we wait, we'll show you a bit of the arrival earlier this evening in just a moment or two. Stephen Colbert is tonight's entertainment at the dinner.
Okay, extra. Come on, bring it. Grill me.
Are you going to bring it tonight or what?
I'm here to celebrate the president and this administration and stick it to the press. The way they're destroying our nation by inches. I'm not letting you off. People are extra bad for America.
They're extra bad.
Extra.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to the 92nd Dinner of the White House Correspondents Association. I'm Mark Smith of Associated Press, Television, and Radio. I'm president of the association this year. We're delighted you're here. We've got a great program, and I certainly hope we can count on your undivided attention. To begin, can I ask you to please remain standing? We're going to have the presentation of the colors, and please remain standing after that as well for the national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, we're now ready for the main events of this 92nd dinner of the White House Correspondents Association. One more time, may I please ask you to take your seats. And once again, may I request your attention up here at the head table. I'm Mark Smith of Associated Press, Radio, and Television. For the past year, thank you. For the past year, it has been my great honor to be the president of this association. You may also, a few of you, recognize me as the fellow President Bush called on a few years ago at a news conference with the crack, "You've got a face for radio." That was the first term. This is the turbulent second term. Things are a little different. Yesterday, the president called on me in the Rose Garden. Not once, but twice. Mr. President, you may want us to think that was a senior moment. I know this is really a sly part of your new effort to reach out to the White House press corps. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a tumultuous year, both for the administration and for the reporters who cover it. We have reported on a president grappling with great issues and dramatic events, a devastating hurricane, upheavals in Congress, a controversial war. We have, in our imperfect way, sought to illuminate these events by doing what we do, by asking probing questions, by reporting the truth as best it can be told. The role of the Correspondents Association is to facilitate that work. We press for access to White House events and officials. We seek the best logistical arrangements in Washington and around the world. It is a challenging brief, magnified this year by a big project that is about to begin, the construction of a new White House briefing room and adjacent offices. Now, for those of you who have not been to our White House home lately, it is not as cute as it looks on TV. To be blunt, it is a shocking shambles. Collapsing chairs, crumbling walls and ceilings, floods, vermin. As the President will attest, it is a dive. And I know he agrees because it was his decision that the only remedy is to gut it and rebuild it. So this summer, I hear some applause. I know why. This summer, while we go to temporary quarters nearby, a new state-of-the-art briefing room will rise in its place. We call this Extreme Makeover White House Edition. Of course, Mr. President, we complain a lot about our current digs, but we really do want you to know that we really love it. It is a remarkable, almost unparalleled, certainly irreplaceable window on the seat of power. We are going to be counting the hours until we return. Now, why would we ever think of leaving such a place, even during construction? Please take a look.
Between the splendor of the White House and the majesty of the West Wing sits the White House press room. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. Hard to believe. A shabby, sorry, down-at-the-heels little slum built over a swimming pool, but just 30 steps from the Oval Office. The ABC News booth is an example of the compact organization here in the White House press room. Where, Jessica Yellen, are you?
Hi, Bill. I was just getting lunch. We keep it under the desk. We have organized our booth so carefully. I'd like to show you, this is what I'm going to miss the most. We have hangers that are perfectly aligned for our height. Yes. We keep all our clothes up there. And all printing comes out over here. When we need to fax, it's just... Can you push me, Karen? Over this way, right here.
Well, nothing to it.
Yeah, it's very simple. We keep everything, hair products.
Ladies and gentlemen, will the stills please gather in lower press at this time? Stills to lower press at this time. Thank you.
And the speaker for that is somewhere in that region. We've never been able to turn it down.
And this is the home of NBC News. Going to be sorry to leave?
Hi, Bill. I will miss it. I will miss, especially, I think, the ergonomics. Won't you miss that? It is so finely tuned in here. It reminds me of flying coach, because I have about as much room as the tray table in the back of the bus when you're flying one of those discount airliners. I have my keyboard right here. Usually my lunch is right here as well. And when I have to answer the phone, I have to drag it over the top of the screen to try to talk to sources.
So, Steve Holland, you looking forward to the new workspace?
We are, Bill. We are looking forward to the new workspace, but we'll miss a lot about the old place here. This is our spacious, padded cell here in the White House. We'll miss our basketball goal, which we use for stress relief, the plastic grapes that we got in Oklahoma City, the map of the Middle East, which never seems irrelevant these days.
And right here, beneath the lectern and the podium, the trap door leading down to the old swimming pool, which is where they keep the old press secretaries. Ann Compton, you've been here as long as any of us. What do you wish for in a new space?
Well, I won't miss the size back here, but right beyond this wall, President Bush walks to the Oval Office every morning. A window, just a nice small window, curtains, a flower box. Good morning, Mr. President.
Maybe he'd take questions.
Every morning on the way to the Oval Office.
Veteran AP correspondent Terry Hunt has lived here for 25, 26 years. Terry, will the collection of ties come back in the new space?
Well, Bill, you've identified this as, the sartorial center of the universe right here. This is what you see is the result of a global search for the world's finest ties that cost as much as $1 a piece.
Your feelings about this squalid little corner of the world of journalism?
It's squalor, but we call it home. My fear has always been that if the good people of America in their wisdom saw this place and was put up to a vote, they would decide it's nicer than we deserve. At which point we'd have to get some advice, maybe from someone in this very building, on how to win an election when you get fewer votes.
The glamour is just dripping, you know, and the most impressive thing I think about working at the White House, something I was totally unprepared for, no place to get food. However, there are 3 bathrooms. Do the math.
Also making a rare appearance in the NBC booth, David Gregory, not talking to Imus, but talking to us.
Hi, Bill.
How do you like this place?
You mean this booth here?
Yeah, you think you can get something better the next time around?
I don't know. I'll tell you, my favorite part of the booth is this right here. Because without this booth would frankly not be livable, because this is a germ factory, and it's a rather small germ factory. And without this, I don't think any of us would still be alive.
And in the new White House press room, there'll be updated communications equipment, much like this. Hello, get me rewrite. And though many people don't know it, there's an even tinier little set of dungeon-like rooms below the press room. CNN lives down here. Suzanne, what are you hoping for when you finally get new quarters?
Well, you know what I have to do, Bill? I actually take this very nasty vitamin cocktail every day, airborne, just to make sure that I'm healthy here. And I have to tell you, that ceiling up there, we had a metal rod that came crashing down onto my producer. She thought that I hit her.
Mark Smith, you willing to give this up and move out of here temporarily in hopes of something better, or what?
In hopes of something. We live like rats down here, Bill, as I think you know. As a matter of fact, rats have actually been seen down here. But, you know, what can I say? We live in hope. Things should improve. Frankly, given the conditions we have right now, I think the Geneva Convention specifically forbids locking people in small closets like this for years at a time.
We are hoping for new furniture in the refurbished press room, but historic preservation laws probably dictate that this needs to be preserved just exactly as it is for future generations.
You know, it may be an exercise in futility. We have been through new briefing rooms over and over, and they throw us out, they rebuild it, they fancy it up, they refurbish it, and we come back in, and if we come back in, it'll be a mess again in a few days or weeks. We're the press corps. A mess is part of our middle name.
Will you feel when we're gone from here that you've given up something special?
Hell no. Look at this. We live in a closet. On a good day, we get to go upstairs and stand in a driveway. We're what? The #1 cable with all this stuff, and look, I gotta work next to this guy in what looks like a utility closet. No, I won't miss it.
And so, without much regret, we say goodbye to our federally funded workspace. Of course, the administration has promised us that we'll be back, and it'll be better than ever. You don't really expect us to believe that, do you?
Many thanks to Bill Plant of CBS for that remarkable video tour. And by the way, that contrarian view from Bill's CBS colleague Mark Knoller was actually recorded at his hospital room. Just Mark, a shout out. We are pulling for a speedy recovery. Anyhow, that was the before picture of Extreme Makeover White House Edition. At next year's dinner, we will be ready to show you the after picture. Or so that is what the contractors tell us, and we all know that contractors never lie. Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, the other main function of the White House Correspondents Association is to nourish the growth of future journalists through scholarships. So to introduce this year's winners this evening, let me call on the man who led our search, the head of our scholarship committee, Ken Walsh of U.S. News and World Report. Ken?
Thank you, Mark. I'd like to just ask you to take a moment now to really hold down your conversation to recognize 3 really terrific young people that are fulfilling the mission that we have as a Correspondents Association, to recognize young people who are headed for great things in their futures. And I think we found 3 of them tonight. The White House Correspondents Association Scholarship Program is designed for college-bound high school seniors who've demonstrated leadership, perseverance, and a commitment to excellence in both their academic pursuits and their extracurricular activities. In recognition of their adherence to those standards, the Scholarship Committee chose Laisha Doherty and Angela King as scholarship recipients this year. Each will receive a $5,000 scholarship. In pursuing her college education, Ms. Doherty intends to major in political science in preparation for a career possibly in law or politics. And in her interview as a finalist, she told the judges she is determined to make a difference in the world. Ms. King intends to major in English and is considering her career as a civil rights lawyer. And she told the judges her long-range objective is to run a nonprofit organization dedicating to helping those in need. So I'd like, if you please recognize. And our third recipient is awarded the Frank Cormier Scholarship. It was established in 1991 by the Correspondents Association and renamed in February of '94 to honor the memory of Frank Cormier, who for 2 decades exemplified the best qualities of White House correspondence. Douglas Cusack is completing his first year at the University of Maryland and is the second recipient of the Cormier Scholarship Award. As a University of Maryland freshman, you can see him in the classroom, at the library, or working full-time as a coffee barista for Starbucks. While considering graduate or law school, he aspires to becoming a sports or political journalist, and Mr. Cusack developed a passion for writing actually from his high school English teacher, which I'm sure Mrs. Bush will appreciate. The Cormier Scholarship is a commitment by the association to provide financial assistance to prospective journalists who demonstrate financial need, and Mr. Cusack will receive $6,000 annually through 2009. I'd like you to recognize our 3 finalists. Thank you.
Okay, next on our program are the White House Correspondents Association Awards for Reporting Excellence. Our presenter tonight is not only an excellent reporter herself, she's one of America's best-known broadcasters and also a dab hand at politics, having won election as our association's president after Steve Scully. Ladies and gentlemen, irrepressible Ann Compton of ABC.
Mr. President, 2 days ago, you saw for yourself how the Gulf Coast is recovering from Hurricane Katrina's storms last year. Tonight, the association honors reporting in the aftermath and something unusual. Like all journalists in the path of the storms, the New Orleans Times-Picayune staffers were both chroniclers of the disaster and they were its victims. Despite personal losses, the newspaper insisted on continuing its tradition of endowing the Edgar A. Poe Awards with a generous $2,500 prize. For excellence in news, in national and regional reporting, Copley News Service, Marcus Stern and Jerry Kammer, for their enterprising series on the corruption case against Congressman Duke Cunningham. The judges described this as a powerful expose on the abuse of power and the political climate in which it thrived. Having just collected a Pulitzer for this work, Marcus Stern, Jerry Kammer. The Poe judges also awarded honorable mentions to the Dayton Daily News, Russell Carollo and Larry Kaplow, for a unique use of military databases, go ahead and applaud, on legal abuses, and honorable mention to Time magazine, its Katrina edition. It was cited as beautifully written and smartly edited. The White House Correspondents Association made a generous contribution to the Friends of the Times-Picayune Fund for employees left homeless by Katrina. We urge all of you to consider giving a contribution as well. For presidential reporting on deadline, the Merriman Smith Award. For print, her bulletin on 1 hour before the official announcement of John Roberts' nomination for the Supreme Court. Judges say her story was tightly written, yet showed the drama. Deb Brickman of the Associated Press. For the broadcast on deadline, for going outside the White House press bubble on the president's very first trip after Katrina, judges say local victims made this a concise, revealing, and emotional report. Terry Moran of ABC News. Tonight, we owe a debt of gratitude for our judges for these awards, coordinated by Assistant Dean Ellen Shearer of the Medill School of Journalism at Northwestern University. Finally, tonight, the judges' selection for the Aldo Beckman Award for repeated excellence in White House reporting, a profile of somebody named Michael Gerson, tracing fundamentalist Christians in American politics. Fine reporting, the judges said, written with clarity, eloquence, and scholarly authority. Carl Cannon, National Journal.
Thank you, Ann. Thank you, and congratulations to all the winners. Our next speaker is our association's Vice President, Steve Scully, who will be succeeding me shortly as President. Now, those of you who are, like me, C-SPAN addicts will know Steve as host of Washington Journal. But that is just one of many hats he wears. He is also Chief White House Correspondent, Senior Executive Producer, and Political Editor for C-SPAN, and in his spare time teaches an online course for 3 universities. 3, right, Steve? Plus, in the past year, of course, he has been my go-to guy, the absolutely invaluable partner who has made virtually everything our association does possible. Where he gets the strength for all of this, I have no idea. I suspect it has something to do that Steve is the 14th of 16 siblings in a family that has 5 sets of twins. 5 sets of twins. Ladies and gentlemen, a colleague who has no equal. Please welcome Correspondents Association Vice President and incoming President Steve Scully. Take it away.
Thank you. Thank you. Mark, thank you. Thank you very much. And if you would, I'd like to paraphrase Lyndon Johnson this evening. I only wish my father were here tonight because he would have enjoyed it. But I'm glad my mother is here tonight because she might even believe some of it. So thank you all. We're going to hear from some former presidents a little bit later this evening. But what can we say about our association president? Mark Smith has truly set a new standard. Nobody, and I mean nobody, has worked harder than our colleague from AP Radio. We have a lot of challenges, as you know, in the year ahead, and my only regret is following in your shoes. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful to take on this new responsibility, And I can promise you what Mark has given us this past year, which has been complete transparency in every decision that we've made and a diligence to make sure that our needs are addressed and concerned and resolved. Now, Scott, whatever the issue has been, you've listened. We didn't always like the answers, but we appreciate your complete accessibility over the last 2 years and 9 months. We thank you, and we wish you the best. Tony Snow, welcome back to the White House. Mr. President, I don't know if you're aware of this, but our C-SPAN staff was at the White House in the briefing room earlier today. Now, if you look at the screen over the years, we've come to know the presidential seal symbolizing the President of the United States of America. And, of course, behind the press secretary is the official logo identifying the White House briefing room. Mr. President, starting Monday, this is what it will look like. Tonight is an evening for us really to share a few laughs and to put aside our editorial and political differences. And so rather than take time this evening to outline my agenda, I'll take a cue from Mark and email it to you in the latest newsletter called Open Press. But if you would, just a moment, a personal note. As Mark indicated, I come from a rather large family. President, Mrs. Bush, you know a thing or two about raising twins, and I would like to recognize my mother of all those children, Betty Scully. Thank you for being here. Our family gave new meaning to the term in the movie Cheaper by the Dozen. And also, the mother of our 3 children, my best friend, my wife, Katie. Finally, I would like to pay tribute to my colleagues at C-SPAN, one of our founding board members, Amos Hostetter. C-SPAN was founded as a network that covers everything, including tonight's dinner. And so what I thought I would do this evening is to share with you a little presidential humor, C-SPAN style. So if we could, let's roll the tape.
Live from New York, it's Saturday night.
NBC Saturday Night.
You've taken all my
I can't say anything. I can't say a thing. I just want to thank you for having me here, and I'm kind of embarrassed, and I hope you pardon me.
The way to do the president is to start out with Mr. Rogers. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Then you add a little John Wayne. Here we go. Let's go over the ridge. You put them together. You got George Herbert Walker Bush. That's the thing there. Now, I did use the hand. The hand, there's a lot of hands that the president used, a lot of different gestures, as you know. The first one I noticed was sort of the hitchhiker, this one. Those people down over there doing that. And then there's 2 6 guns up here doing that thing. Then the wandering index, that fella down there. Put them together. And then the staple. It kind of got...
This is a special night for me for a lot of reasons. Jay Leno's here. Now, no matter how mean he is to me, I just love this guy. Because together we give hope to gray-haired, chunky baby boomers everywhere.
Vice President and the First Lady out on the campaign trail, things aren't as exciting as they used to be around here. In fact, it's really starting to wind down.
There's bipartisan support for it in Congress, and it meets the principles I set out in my State of the Union. If they send me the bill in its present form, I will sign it. Okay. Any questions? Helen?
Are you still here?
Mr. President, I'm sure you're aware, sir, of the tremendous mail response that your news conferences on television and radio has produced. There are many Americans who believe that in our manner of questioning or seeking your attention, that we're subjecting you to some abuse or a lack of respect. I wonder, sir, in this light, could you tell us generally your feelings about your press conferences today and your feelings about how they're conducted?
Well, you subject me to some abuse, but not to any lack of respect, I don't think. Yes, Ms. Gray.
Mr. President, the practice of managed news is attributed to your administration. Mr. Salinger says he's never had it defined. Will you give us your definition and ask us why you find it necessary to practice it?
You are charging us with something, Ms. Gray, and then you're asking me to define what it is you're charging me with. I think you might. Let me just say that we've had very limited success in managing the news, if that's what we've been trying to do. And perhaps you'd tell us what it is that you object to in our treatment of the news.
Are you asking me
Yes.
something? Well, I don't believe in managed news at all. I thought we ought to get everything we want.
Well, I think you should, too, Ms. Gray. I'm for that. Excuse me, Miss Montgomery.
Mr. President, your brother Ted recently on television said that after seeing the cares of office on you, that he wasn't sure he'd ever be interested in being the president. I wonder if you could tell us whether, if you had it to do over again, you would work for the presidency and whether you can recommend the job to others.
Well, the answer is, the first is yes, and the second is no. I don't recommend it to others. At least for a while.
And on another occasion, I remember, well, I guess you were more accurate, I did show my scar. But I think in explanation you ought to know that it was only after a question from Sarah McClendon. And she jumped up behind the weeds out there on the golf course. Maybe it wasn't a golf course, but it was a grassy area, I remember, near the Bethesda Hospital, and she said, "Mr. President, you've been in office almost 2 years, and what do you have to show for it?" I'm not unmindful of how you must feel, and I was thinking as the music was leaving about a story that occurred down in my own hills of Texas when one of our elder statesmen found difficulty in his hearing, and he went to the doctor, and the doctor examined him carefully and said, "Well, how much are you drinking these days?" And he said, "Well, he drank about a pint a day." And he said, "Well, if you want to improve your hearing, you're going to have to cut out your drinking." And about 90 days later, the fellow went back to the doctor, and the doctor examined him again, and his hearing hadn't improved a bit. And he said, "Well, now, have you cut out your drinking?" And he said, "No." Well, he said, I can't do anything for you if you won't follow my advice, take my prescription." He said, "Didn't I tell you when you were here that you should cut out your drinking if you wanted to improve your hearing?" And he said, "Yes." Well, he said, "Why didn't you do it?" Well, he said, "Doctor," said, "I got home and I considered it, and I just decided that I like what I drank so much better than what I heard."
Thanks for inviting me. I am sorry Lorden couldn't be here. And I'm sorry Secretary Rumsfeld's not here either. The guy constantly surprises me. Do you know what Rummy's favorite TV show is? Queer Eye for the Straight Guy.
George always says he's delighted to come to these press dinners. Baloney. He's usually in bed by now. I'm not kidding. I said to him the other day, George, if you really want to end tyranny in the world, you're going to have to stay up later.
Nancy, would you like to join me up here please? I know it's getting late, dear, but it's not often that we have so many people who've written about us and broadcast about us all together in one room like this, and I thought you might like to say a few nice words to them. They're all from the press and radio and television. Maybe just a friendly little greeting would do. How about just a word or two, something friendly, even one kind word?
I'm thinking.
I remember the story of the fella here a while ago who was running for Congress as a Republican. He stopped by a farm to do some campaigning, and when the farmer heard he was a Republican, his jaw dropped, and he said, "Wait right here." He said, "While I get Ma. She's never seen a Republican before." So he got Ma, and the candidate looked around for a podium to give his speech from. The only thing he could find was a pile of that stuff that Bess Truman took 35 years trying to get Harry to call fertilizer. So he got up on the mound, and when they came back, he gave his speech. End of it, the farmer says, "That's the first time I've ever heard a Republican speech." Candidate said, "That's the first time I've ever given a Republican speech from a Democratic platform."
My last official duty before turning the gavel back to our distinguished President, Mark Smith, is to present him with this gavel and a token of our appreciation on behalf of the White House Correspondents Association and all of those who cover the White House. Mark, thank you very much.
Terrific job. Thank you. Thank you, Steve, for your most gracious words and for that terrific tape. We've got a lot on our plate this year. It is immensely gratifying to know that that work is in such capable hands. It's going to be a terrific year coming up. 2 thank yous, and then the people who you really want to hear speak. The first, if you'll indulge me, the 3 women who have shared my adventure this past year and somehow still love me despite the crackberry addict that I have become. My wife, Mina, my daughters, Larissa and Talia. Your support this year has been a talisman for me. Now, the other is this organization's indispensable executive director, Julie Whiston. This dinner is a product of her blood, sweat, and tears. She is standing right over there in the wings, ready, as always, to spring into action. Ladies and gentlemen, Julie Whiston. Let me add that she is standing there even though tonight is her birthday. We're not saying which one, Julie, but it is a round number. Anyhow, happy birthday, Julie. Our profound thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, this past year, the White House press corps has once again been upbraided and vilified. We have been called by the left putty in the administration's hands. We have been called Bush's trained dogs. At the same time, the right has accused us of relentless negativity, liberal overreach. Sounds like another year of irritating absolutely everyone, and in so doing, getting it just about right. Now, last year, one well-known columnist even denounced the applause that we gave to the President and his wife at this dinner. Well, at the risk of another scourging, I am going to repeat the toast that has been the only one at this dinner in the 92 years since our association has been founded. Ladies and gentlemen, please, if you will, lift your glass to the President of the United States. Mr. President, the microphone is yours.
Members of the White House Correspondents Association, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, here I am. Here I am at another one of these dang press dinners. Could be home asleep. Little Barney curled up at my feet. But no, I gotta pretend I like being here. The media really ticks me off. The way they try to embarrass me by not editing what I say. Well, let's get things going or I'll never get to bed. Thank you, Mark. I'm absolutely delighted to be here. As is Laura. She's hot. Muy caliente. As you know, I always look forward to these dinners. It's just a bunch of media types. Hollywood liberals, Democrats like Joe Biden. How come I can't have dinner with the 36% of the people who like me? The only thing missing is Hillary Clinton sitting on the front row, rolling her eyes. There's got to be a friendly face out there somewhere. I tell you, oh, there's Justice Scalia. There. Or Justice Alito. Hey, boys. Bet it feels good to be out from under those robes. Toga, 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 toga. There's Alex Trebek at Jeopardy. That boy's smart. He knows a lot. Maybe I should put him on the Supreme Court. Let's see, the Democrats block that one. You know, it's good to see so many influential guests here tonight. Justice Scalia, Justice Alito. Yeah, all the usual suspects. Speaking of suspects, where's the great white hunter? I am sorry Vice President Cheney couldn't be here tonight. I agree with the press that Dick was a little late reporting that hunting episode down in Texas. In fact, I didn't know a thing about it till I saw him on America's Most Wanted.
Cheney, what a goofball. Shot the only trial lawyer in the country who's for me. I tell you reporters would go nuts if you knew the true story. He was as drunk as a skunk. On one beer. Light beer. Oh, people were ducking and diving for cover. I wish I could have been there. I saw him walking down the hallway the other day. I looked at him and said, "Don't shoot." You see, people don't see the fun side of Dick.
But Dick's a good man. He has a good heart. Well, he's a good man. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm feeling chipper tonight. I survived the White House shakeup. So I want to talk about some serious issues, such as...
Okay. Here it comes. Nuclear proliferation. Nuclear proliferation. Nuclear proliferation.
Nuclear proliferation.
All right, maintain. Be cool. Let's give this a try. We must enhance non-compliance protocols, sanctioned not only at IAEA formal sessions, but through intersessional contact.
We must enhance non-compliance protocols, sanctioned not only at EIEIO formal sessions, but through intersexual conduct.
Nailed it.
See, I'm an activist. I object to those stories that say I'm a lame duck. I'm not a lame duck, I'm a sprinting duck. I'm a hustling duck. I'm a leadership of the free world duck. And I'm continuing to spread our agenda globally and around the world, as well as internationally.
Some of my critics in the international community call me arrogant. I will not even honor that with a response. Screw them. Nah, don't say screw them. Let's hit them with some rhetorical eloquence.
My friends, our purple mountains with ramparts red glare, white with foam and justice for all, fruity plains gallantly streaming, from sea to shining sea with a shining city on a shining hill above a shining prairie, and maybe some shiny trees and a few shrubs, I see a shiny America.
Yes, my fellow Americans, in the words of Sigmund Freud, I have a dream. And one of those dreams is to eliminate barriers. And I saw a wonderful opportunity to do that when I was in China, out on tour of the Chinese countryside with the Chinese premier, Wen Jiabo. I looked him straight in the eye and I said, "Mr. President, tear down this wall." You should have seen his face.
I love America because it's full of Americans. I believe we're an America that should come together, Republican and Democrat and John McCain. I believe in bipartisanship.
Yeah. You see, it's like this here. We can all come together. Here's a visual. See here, looky here. See there? See, there's the church. And there's the steeple. Open the door and look at all the people. You see, they're all happy and wiggling. There's me and Senator Kennedy on the front row.
You know, I couldn't have said that better myself. Ladies and gentlemen, that ruggedly good-looking guy right there is Steve Bridges. He's a fine talent. In fact, Steve did all my debates with Senator Kerry. He done most of my news conferences. Steve, I have to say, you could have done a little better in the debates.
Yeah, all right.
I want to thank Steve for accepting my invitation to be a part of this fun evening. As most of my predecessors have known, it's really important to be able to laugh in this job, and I thank you for giving us a chance to laugh tonight. I got one more thing I want to share with you on my mind. It's something that's never far from my mind. God bless our troops. God bless the cause of freedom. And God bless America. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you. Thanks. A lot of fun.
I'm not sure which podium to use. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our last speaker this evening, the man with the unenviable job of following not one but two Presidents George W. Bush, has become a sensation since his show, The Colbert Report, debuted on Comedy Central last year. That is because Stephen Colbert has shown America he's not only funny but fearless. He will defend the truth whether or not it is under attack. And he will stand up for what is right without fear of mere trifles like facts. Any resemblance between Stephen and persons here in this room is completely intentional. I was feeling pretty pleased the day after signing Stephen for this dinner when I came across an alarming news headline. Colbert declares AP #1 threat facing America. It seems AP, my company, had run a profile which failed to credit Stephen for the word truthiness, and he gleefully declared war. I had one of those pit-in-my-stomach, career in flames moments, and in panic, I emailed Tom Curley, my boss. I said, Tom, please tell me we're laughing about this. Fortunately, Tom replied, yes, Mark, we are, of course. Mr. President, usually you and the politicians are the ones in the crosshairs at this dinner. Tonight, no one is safe. Ladies and gentlemen, here with a special edition of the Colbert Report, Stephen Colbert.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Before I begin, I've been asked to make an announcement. Whoever parked 14 black bulletproof SUVs out front, could you please move them? They're blocking in 14 other black bulletproof SUVs. They need to get out. Wow. Wow, what an honor. The White House Correspondents' Dinner. To actually, to sit here at the same table with my hero, George W. Bush. To be this close to the man. I feel like I'm dreaming. Somebody pinch me. You know what? I'm a pretty sound sleeper. That may not be enough. Somebody shoot me in the face. Is he really not here tonight? Damn it. The one guy who could have helped. By the way, before I get started, if anybody needs anything else at their tables, just speak slowly and clearly into your table numbers. Someone from the NSA will be right over with a cocktail. Mark Smith, ladies and gentlemen of the press corps, Madam First Lady, Mr. President, my name is Stephen Colbert, and tonight it is my privilege to celebrate this president. Because we're not so different, he and I. We both get it. Guys like us, we're not some brainiacs on the nerd patrol. We're not members of the Factinista. We go straight from the gut. Right, sir? That's where the truth lies. Right down here in the gut. Do you know you have more nerve endings in your gut than you have in your head? You can look it up. Now I know some of you are going to say I did look it up, and that's not true. That's because you looked it up in a book. Next time, look it up in your gut. I did. My gut tells me that's how our nervous system works. Every night on my show, The Colbert Report, I speak straight from the gut, okay? I give people the truth unfiltered by rational argument. I call it the no-fact zone. Fox News, I hold a copyright on that term. I'm a simple man with a simple mind. I hold a simple set of beliefs that I live by. Number one, I believe in America. I believe it exists. My gut tells me I live there. I feel that it extends from the Atlantic to the Pacific. And I strongly believe it has 50 states. And I cannot wait to see how the Washington Post spins that one tomorrow. I believe in democracy. I believe democracy is our greatest export, at least until China figures out a way to stamp it out of plastic for 3 cents a unit. As a matter of fact, Ambassador Zhou Wenjian, welcome. Your great country makes our Happy Meals possible. I said it's a celebration. I believe the government that governs best is the government that governs least, and by these standards, we have set up a fabulous government in Iraq. I believe in pulling yourself up by your own bootstraps. I believe it is possible. I saw this guy do it once in Cirque du Soleil. It was magical. And though I am a committed Christian, I believe that everyone has the right to their own religion, be you Hindu, Jewish, or Muslim. I believe there are infinite paths to accepting Jesus Christ as your personal Savior. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe it's yogurt. But I refuse to believe it's not butter. Most of all, I believe in this president. Now, I know there's some polls out there saying that this man has a 32% approval rating. But guys like us, we don't pay attention to the polls. We know that polls are just a collection of statistics that reflect what people are thinking in reality. And reality has a well-known liberal bias. So, Mr. President, please pay no attention to the people who say the glass is half full. 32% means the glass. It's important to set up your jokes properly, sir. Sir, pay no attention to the people who say the glass is half empty, because 32% means it's 2/3 empty. There's still some liquid in that glass, is my point. But I wouldn't drink it. The last third is usually backwash. Okay. Look, folks, my point is that I don't believe this is a low point in this presidency. I believe it is just a lull before a comeback. I mean, it's like the movie Rocky, all right? The president in this case is Rocky Balboa, and Apollo Creed is everything else in the world. It's the 10th round. He's bloodied. His corner man, Mick, who in this case I guess would be the vice president, he's yelling, "Cut me, Dick, cut me." And every time he falls, everyone says, "Stay down, Rock, stay down." But does he stay down? No. Like Rocky, he gets back up, and in the end, he actually loses in the first movie. Okay, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The point is, it is the heartwarming story of a man who was repeatedly punched in the face. So don't pay attention to the approval ratings that say that 68% of Americans disapprove of the job this man is doing. I ask you this, does that not also logically mean that 68% approve of the job he's not doing? Think about it. I haven't. I stand by this man. I stand by this man because he stands for things. Not only for things, he stands on things. Things like aircraft carriers and rubble and recently flooded city squares. And that sends a strong message that no matter what happens to America, she will always rebound with the most powerfully staged photo ops in the world. Now, there may be an energy crisis. Well, this president has a very forward-thinking energy policy. Why do you think he's down on the ranch cutting that brush all the time? He's trying to create an alternative energy source. By 2008, we will have a mesquite-powered car. And I just like the guy. He's a good Joe. Obviously loves his wife. Calls her his better half. And polls show America agrees. And she's a true lady and a wonderful woman. But I just have one beef, ma'am. I'm sorry, but this reading initiative. I'm sorry. I've never been a fan of books. I don't trust them. They're all fact, no heart. I mean, they're elitists telling us what is or isn't true or what did or didn't happen. Who's Britannica to tell me the Panama Canal was built in 1914? If I want to say it was built in 1941, that's my right as an American. I'm with the president. Let history decide what did or did not happen. The greatest thing about this man is he's steady. You know where he stands. He believes the same thing Wednesday that he believed on Monday, no matter what happened Tuesday. Events can change. This man's beliefs never will. And as excited as I am to be here with the president, I am appalled to be surrounded by the liberal media that is destroying America, with the exception of Fox News. Fox News gives you both sides of every story, the president's side and the vice president's side. But the rest of you, what are you thinking? Reporting on NSA wiretapping or secret prisons in Eastern Europe? Those things are secret for a very important reason. They're super depressing. And if that's your goal, well, misery accomplished. Over the last 5 years, you people were so good. Over tax cuts, WMD intelligence, the effect of global warming, we Americans didn't want to know, and you had the courtesy not to try to find out. Those were good times, as far as we knew. But listen, let's review the rules. Here's how it works. The president makes decisions. He's the decider. The press secretary announces those decisions, and you people of the press type those decisions down. Make, announce, type. Just put them through a spell check and go home. Get to know your family again. Make love to your wife. Write that novel you got kicking around in your head. You know, the one about the intrepid Washington reporter with the courage to stand up to the administration? You know, fiction. Because really, what incentive do these people have to answer your questions after all? I mean, nothing satisfies you. Everybody asks for personnel changes. So, the White House has personnel changes. And then you write, oh, they're just rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. First of all, that is a terrible metaphor. This administration is not sinking. This administration is soaring. If anything, they are rearranging the deck chairs on the Hindenburg. Now, it's not all bad guys out there. There's some of the heroes out there tonight. Christopher Buckley, Jeff Sachs, Ken Burns, Bob Schieffer. I've interviewed all of them. By the way, Mr. President, thank you for agreeing to be on my show. I appreciate it. I was just as shocked as everyone here is. I promise you. How's Tuesday for you? I've got Frank Rich, but we can just bump him. And I mean bump him. I know a guy. Say the word. See who we got here tonight. We got General Mosley, Air Force Chief of Staff. We've got General Peter Pace, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. They still support Rumsfeld. Right, you guys aren't retired yet, right? Right, they still support Rumsfeld. Look, by the way, I've got a theory about how to handle these retired generals. I've caused all this trouble. Don't let them retire. Come on, we've got a stop-loss program. Let's use it on these guys. I've seen Nazzini in that crowd on Wolf Blitzer. If you're strong enough to go on one of those pundit shows, you're strong enough to stand on a bank of computers and order men into battle. Come on. Jesse Jackson is here. The Reverend. Haven't heard from the Reverend in just a little while. I had him on the show. It was a very interesting interview, very challenging interview. You can ask him anything, but he's going to say what he wants at the pace that he wants. It's like boxing a glacier. Enjoy that metaphor, by the way, because your grandchildren will have no idea what a glacier is. Justice Scalia is here. Justice Scalia, may I be the first to say, welcome, sir. You look fantastic. How are you? Just talking some Sicilian with my paisan. John McCain is here. John McCain, what a maverick. Somebody find out what fork he used on his salad. Because I guarantee you it wasn't a salad fork. This guy could have used a spoon. There's no predicting him. By the way, Senator McCain, so wonderful to see you coming back into the Republican fold. I've actually got a summer house in South Carolina. Look me up when you go to speak at Bob Jones University. So glad you've seen the light, sir. Mayor Nagin. Mayor Nagin is here from New Orleans, the Chocolate City. Yeah, give it up. Mayor Nagin, I'd like to welcome you to Washington, D.C., the Chocolate City with a marshmallow center. And a graham cracker crust of corruption. It's a Malamar, I guess is what I'm describing as a Malamar. It's a seasonal cookie. Joe Wilson is here. Joe Wilson, right down here in front, the most famous husband since Desi Arnaz. And of course, he brought along his lovely wife, Valerie Plame. Oh my God. Oh, what have I said? G. Manetti. I am sorry, Mr. President. I meant to say he brought along his lovely wife, Joe Wilson's wife. Patrick Fitzgerald's not here tonight, right? Okay, dodged a bullet. And of course, we can't forget, man of the hour, new press secretary, Tony Snow. Secret Service name, Snow Job. Toughest job. What a hero. Took the second toughest job in government, next to, of course, the ambassador to Iraq. Got some big shoes to fill, Tony. Big shoes to fill. Scott McClellan could say nothing like nobody else. McClellan, of course, eager to retire, really felt like he needed to spend more time with Andrew Card's children. Then, Mr. President, I wish you hadn't made the decision so quickly, sir. I was vying for the job myself. I think I would have made a fabulous press secretary. I have nothing but contempt for these people. I know how to handle these clowns. In fact, sir, I brought along an audition tape. And with your indulgence, I'd like to at least give it a shot. So, ladies and gentlemen, my press conference.
I have a brief statement. The press is destroying America. Okay, let's see who we got here today. Stretch. Sir Nerdlington. Sloppy Joe. Terry Lemon Moran Pie. Oh, Doubting Thomas, always a pleasure. And Suzanne Mal, hello! Yes.
Will the Vice President be available soon to answer all questions himself?
I've already addressed that question. You.
Walter Cronkite, the noted CBS anchor.
No, he's the former CBS anchor. Katie Couric is the anchor of the CBS Evening News. By the way, how do you guys feel about that? You tousled hair, guy in the back. Are you happy about Katie Couric taking over the CBS Evening News?
No, sir, Mr. Colbert. Are you?
Oh, look, we woke David Gregory up. David, you have a question?
Did Carl Rove commit a crime?
I don't know. I'll ask him. Carl, pay attention, please.
Do you stand by your statement from the fall of 2003 when you were asked specifically about Carl and Elliot Abrams and Scooter Libby, and you said, I've gone to each of those gentlemen, and they have told me they are not involved in this. Do you stand by that statement?
Nah, I was just kidding.
No, you're not finishing. You're not saying anything. You stood at that podium and said...
That's where you're wrong. New podium. Just had it delivered today. Get your facts straight, David.
This is ridiculous. The notion that you're going to stand before us after having commented with that level of detail and tell people watching this that somehow you've decided not to talk? You've got to...
I'm sorry, what's that, David? If I can't hear you, I can't answer your question. I'm sorry. I have to move on. Yes, Terry.
After the investigation began, after the criminal investigation was underway, you said, all of a sudden you have respect for the sanctity of the criminal investigation?
No, I never had any respect for the sanctity of a criminal investigation. Activist judges. Yes, Helen.
You're going to be sorry.
What you gonna do, Helen? Ask me for a recipe?
Your decision to invade Iraq has caused the deaths of thousands of Americans and Iraqis. Wounds of Americans and Iraqis for a lifetime.
Okay, hold on. Okay.
Every reason given, publicly at least, has turned out not to be true.
I don't think...
My question is, why did you really want to go to war?
Helen, I'm going to stop you right there.
You stepped into the White House. From your former cabinet officers, intelligent people, and so forth. What was your real reason?
Sorry, Helen, I'm moving on.
When did the president...
Guys, no, I already said no.
You now ask
the vice president made a decision.
Guys, please don't let Helen do this to what was a lovely day.
Now that Rove has a sense of the
president's own press operation.
No, I'm not listening to you.
He's aware.
Look what you did, Helen. I hate you. Get out of here. There is a wall here. It reeks in there. Ridiculous. I've never been so insulted in my entire life. Stupid job.
She won't stop asking why we invaded Iraq.
Hey, why did we invade Iraq?
No! Come on. What was it?
All right. Okay. Got it. Oh, God.
What a terrible trip, Danny. Take me home.
Buckle up, hon.
Helen Thomas, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Smith, members of the White House Correspondents Association, Madam First Lady, Mr. President, it's been a true honor. Thank you very much. Good night.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our program for this evening. May I please ask you to remain in your seats while the President and First Lady depart, accompanied by our incoming President, Steve Scully. Have a great evening. Be safe. See you next year. Thank you.